they always said I'm wrong, but what they doing today? I think they want me gone, but I ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
So hello, hi, hello, what's up, what's good on the internet, what's good in life? I am Akiem LI495. So the United States men's basketball team just completed yet another blowout victory, this time of Australia. The final score at the end of this one was 119-86. And believe it or not, by United States standards, for the first 3 quarters of this game, it was actually rather close. You know, at the end of the first quarter, it was 28-21 U.S. At the end of the second quarter, it was 56-42 U.S. And at the end of the third quarter, it was 28-20. It was 84-70, and both teams wound up scoring the exact same amount of points. In fact, when you look at it, after the first 2 quarters, both teams scored the exact amount of points in each quarter of both of those quarters. 28 for the U.S. and 21 for Australia. So, you know, I'm thinking about all of this, and I'm as I'm watching this game, and and the way that these U.S. games normally play out, I'm thinking, when is the rout going to begin? When is the rout going to begin? Well, it really culminated in that fourth quarter, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But for the first half of the game, it was very chippy. It was very physical. Both teams were drawing fouls at each other. Both Australia and the U.S. was getting to the free throw line, except the difference between in that game as to why it was 56-42 at the end of that half was because, unlike the U.S., Australia wasn't hitting their free throws. U.S. was hitting their free throws. Australia was not hitting their free throws. If I'm not mistaken, they were 9 for 17 at halftime, and that's why it was 56-42. They were missing 8 of their free throws, and it could have been a lot closer at one point, but that's why it was a 14-point lead for the U.S. at that point. Darren Williams, and also it looked like that Darren Williams was going to be the leading scorer for the United States at that game. I believe he had 13 points at halftime. But a couple of things happened during this game that you really got to take note of. LeBron James, 11 points, 12 assists, 14 rebounds. So as Ice Cube would say, he just messed around and got a triple-double. And not only that, he wound up getting the first triple-double in Olympic history. So even some more Olympic history that the United States men's basketball team is getting themselves into, and once again setting new records. So that certainly happened. That certainly happened as a result of that game. And the second thing that also I want to make note of was this. Of course, Kobe Bryant. Talk about a Jekyll and Hyde thing from Mr. Kobe Bryant. I mean, he was 0 for 4. He was 0 for 4 going into halftime, but coming out of the half, Kobe morphed into what he would like to call himself, the Black Mamba. He had 20 points overall in that game, and all of those 20 points came in the second half, not to mention scoring 6 3-pointers, hitting 6 3-pointers, and the only non-3-point shots that he took wound up being from the free throw line when he was fouled once by Matt Nielsen of Australia, who wound up with 5 points himself for Australia. But of course, Kobe Bryant wound up with 20 points, including all those threes, which propelled, if I'm not mistaken, actually was the catalyst behind a huge 14-2 run in that fourth quarter, which of course sparked a huge run for the United States. Overall, they outscored Australia 35-16, and that is the huge reason as to why the United States wound up blowing Australia out of the gym at the North Greenwich Arena, as they're calling it for the Olympics, normally called the O2 Arena, but absolutely just blew them out of the joint and prevailing over Australia by a final score of 119-86, another win for the U.S. So, now going forward for the U.S., they now advance to the semifinals. And their semifinal opponent will be, drumroll please, Argentina. And if you remember, when Carmelo, and obviously this is getting a lot of press in the media, obviously you remember when Carmelo Anthony went to take a 3-pointer late in the last game that they just played when they blew out Argentina, Carmelo Anthony was struck below the belt. So, if that is any indication as to how the United States is feeling about after what happened in that last game when they took a cheap shot at Carmelo Anthony, then certainly this one should certainly be entertaining, and we'll see if there's going to be any carryover effect to this semifinal game with so much on the line, with a shot at a gold medal on the line in this upcoming semifinal versus the Argentinians. But of course, as we know, the Argentinians can be pretty tough. Don't expect them to be blown out as they did last game by the U.S. So once again, another victory for the U.S. LeBron James with a triple-double, and Kobe Bryant absolutely just went off in that second half. Talk about a tale of two Kobe. Sort of makes you wonder if that was really Kobe Bryant in that number 10 jersey for the U.S. going into halftime. So what do you think of the game? Rate, comment, react, reply, add, and subscribe. What you think of LeBron James making history? Do you think the U.S. will beat Argentina? I certainly do, but do you think so? And what about Kobe Bryant just going off? Just went in Black Mamba mode, beast mode, whatever you want to call it. So rate, comment, react, reply, add, and subscribe. Look forward to reading your comments and talking with you. As always, I'm just one guy talking about nothing. So until next time, I'm Akiem on the Real Sports Talk Network. See you on the internet someplace.
Just a little ways around the corner from fear.